You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. The court hearing for the 4 former industrial ISD students has been reset for May 16th. Christopher McRoy, Colin Stumple, Braxton Warren, and Zach Kukler are facing charges related to an alleged organized criminal assault concerning the incident that took place on a school bus back in April. The 4 teenagers stand accused of assaulting a fellow student while returning from an away game. The man accused of murdering an Edna cheerleader, Elizabeth Medina, was not present in court today, but was arraigned in the capital murder of Elizabeth. 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel brings us more from the Jackson County Courthouse.
Rafael Romero, the man accused of murdering 16-year-old Edna cheerleader Elizabeth Medina, waived his right to appear in court today, something Elizabeth's mom, Jacqueline, says was cowardly. She's frustrated that she was unable to actually see him in person today in court as she drove all the way from Nebraska for his arraignment this morning. Romero is accused of intentionally causing the death of Elizabeth while in the course of committing or attempting to commit burglary, robbery, or aggravated sexual assault. Romero had overstayed a work visa. He was arrested 5 days after the 16-year-old was found dead in her Edna apartment. Reporting in Edna, Jackson County, I'm Adam Seibel, KAVU-TV 25 News Now.
The next court date for Rafael Romero's capital murder charge and the death of Elizabeth Medina is reset to April 4th. Now, voters will head to the polls in 83 days again to decide who will serve as the next Victoria County Commissioner in Precinct 3. Shannon Martin is on the ballot. He previously served the Victoria Fire Department for more than 35 years. He's active in the community through organizations such as the Victoria Livestock Show and the local Emergency Planning Commission. Martin won 49% of the vote Tuesday night. Martin says he's lived in Precinct 3 for more than 50 years and is ready to serve the area.
I'm the only candidate that has real-world experience in not only budgeting, but allocating taxpayer dollars and ensuring that those taxpayer dollars are spent properly throughout the year and in a conservative manner.
Martin faces Brad Tucker in the runoff election set for May 28th. Tucker worked in the construction industry for 25 years and owned and operated Tucker Construction Company for 18 years. He's won 35% of the vote Tuesday night. The winner will become the 5th county commissioner in Precinct 3 since 1930. Incumbent Gary Burns did not seek re-election. He held this position for 20 years. And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, clouds are pretty heavy out there, kind of dark.
Yes, and we had a few little light showers around the area this afternoon. There's possibility we'll have some overnight and into tomorrow morning, but then it's all going to be gone. Notice the light activity over the crossroads. Also, you can see up here, the big stuff's already firing. Up in North Texas, they're going to get some severe weather tonight. We'll be talking about that and taking a look at your entire weekend coming up in a minute. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. An investigator probing the 2022 Uvalde Elementary School shooting says police made many failures in their response to the shooting. The investigation also cleared local police officers of mistakes. This is just one of several into the massacre that killed 19 students and 2 teachers. The investigation focused on the officers who responded that day. The lead detective described rippling failures at the scene, including communication failures, poor training for live shooter situations, and delays on breaching the classroom.
Tell us about Uvalde Police Department's training with regard to breaching.
I don't believe they've ever been to any extensive breaching classes. I don't believe, well, they had not practiced since before COVID when this occurred.
State lawmakers found in 2022 that nearly 400 local, state, and federal officers rushed to the school, but waited more than an hour before confronting the gunman. A power company in the Panhandle acknowledged that one of its facilities was involved in an ignition of the deadly Smokehouse Creek fire. In a statement, Xcel Energy says they are cooperating with investigators and plan to help those affected by the blaze. They did refute claims that it acted in neglect in maintaining its infrastructure. Xcel is encouraging residents who lost property or livestock in this fire to submit a claim to the company. At least 64 homes in Hemphill and Roberts counties were destroyed in the Smokehouse Creek fire. A former pro wrestler and congressional candidate is charged with murder in Nevada. He is accused of attacking and killing a man during a party in a hotel room on the Las Vegas Strip.
After an unsuccessful bid for Congress in Nevada, Dan Rodimer moved to Texas, unsuccessfully running again. The night of October 29th, he attended a Halloween party in a Resorts World suite with his wife and stepdaughter. His costume, Ken from the Barbie movie, a large fur jacket and no shirt. Christopher Tapp was also at that party. One of Rodimer's stepdaughter's friends told investigators the girls were doing drugs in the fun room, the master bathroom, which had lines of cocaine already prepared with a rolled up $100 bill to ingest the cocaine. Tapp walked in and also started using the drugs. She then described seeing, quote, angry Ken rip off his jacket and run toward the master bathroom. She told the host of the party, whom she believed to be an F1 driver, that he better go stop Dan because he was going to fight Christopher. Several witnesses report Rodimer accused Tapp of giving his daughter the drugs, screaming, "If you ever talk to my daughter again, I will expletive kill you." One witness saw Dan knock Christopher to the ground, at which time Christopher's head hit a small table and Dan proceeded to punch Christopher throughout his head and body. She said that Christopher did not fight back. Investigators also obtained text messages sent just hours later by Rodimer's own wife. "I watched you nearly murder. Somebody and I had to take your hands off his neck as he laid there and you ran away. And I spent the next 2 hours trying to take care of him. Nobody should have to watch their husband murder somebody."
Tapp died on November 5th. The man turned himself in Wednesday evening and posted a $200,000 bond. He's due back in court today. Closing arguments are underway in the trial of two former deputies charged in the in-custody death of Javier Ambler. James Johnson and Zach Hamden are both charged with manslaughter. Ambler died in March of 2019 after leading police on a 20-minute chase. The former deputies are accused of acting recklessly while trying to arrest Ambler by using a taser multiple times, despite him telling the officers he had a health condition. After closing arguments, the case will go to a jury who will decide their fate. The incident was filmed for the show Live PD. However, that episode never aired and the footage was destroyed. Tonight, President Biden will deliver his third State of the Union address before a joint session of Congress. The president is coming off of a Super Tuesday win, setting him up for another expected rematch with former President Donald Trump.
President Biden is set to deliver what could be his most consequential speech yet at his third State of the Union address.
You will hear the president lay out the historic achievements he has delivered on for the American people and his vision for the future.
After spending days rehearsing and huddling with advisors at Camp David, Biden will be looking to use the speech as a springboard for his 2024 campaign, convincing voters he's still up for 4 more years. Look for Biden to tout his accomplishments, his bipartisan infrastructure bill, tackling prescription drug prices, not to mention his effort to fight for reproductive rights, like access to abortion and IVF.
We must be clear. Democracy is on the ballot. Your freedom is on the ballot.
A theme highlighted by the guests invited to sit in the House chamber with the First Lady during the speech. Like Kate Cox, the Texas mother denied an abortion under the state's strict ban, despite her life-threatening complications. And Alabama mom LaToya Beasley, whose second IVF treatment was canceled after the state's Supreme Court ruling led clinics to restrict the procedure. Biden will look to take on issues on the top of voters' minds, like the economy, where he'll look to sell the economic recovery under his watch. Nearly 15 million jobs added, rising wages, and an unemployment rate below 4% over the past 2 years. And on immigration, an issue proving to pose a real political challenge, look for him to blame Donald Trump and some Republicans for killing the bipartisan border deal. Just as important as the substance of the speech will be Biden's delivery. Facing persistent concerns about his age, the address will be a chance to show voters he's still up for the job. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
First Lady Jill Biden is welcoming guests to join her for President Joe Biden's State of the Union address. Her guests are Chris Blackley, an oncology nurse from South Carolina, and Jasmine Garces, an advocate for gun violence. Her sister was among the victims in the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde. Several others will also be joining the First Lady and Second Gentleman, Mr. Douglas Emhoff, in the viewing box. All of these individuals were invited because they represent issues or themes to be addressed in the president's speech. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. President Biden plans to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, his plans of delivering aid to the territory. Also ahead, 12 green sea turtles in Galveston got their first taste of freedom after spending 2 months in recovery. Haiti's government is extending a state of emergency and nighttime curfew to curb the violent gang attacks that have paralyzed the capital amid a fierce political battle for power. A 3-day curfew was announced over the weekend, but gangs continue to attack police stations and other institutions during the night. The attacks began a week ago, shortly after the Prime Minister agreed to hold general elections in mid-2025 while attending a meeting of Caribbean leaders. As mentioned, President Biden will announce the delivery of life-saving supplies to Gaza during the State of the Union address. The White House will direct the U.S. military to establish a port in the Mediterranean Sea where large ships can provide food, water, medicine, and shelter. Another official says the U.S. is coordinating the assistance port with Israel, the UN, and other groups. There's no word yet on when the port will be open. However, on Thursday, the U.S. conducted a third airdrop in the northern part of Gaza. Alabama lawmakers passed the IVF immunity bill on Wednesday night. The bill grants civil and criminal immunity for IVF service providers and receivers and allows patients and clinics to immediately restart IVF treatments without fear of legal repercussions if embryos are damaged or destroyed during the medical procedure. Republican Governor Kay signed the bill after it was passed. Last month, many clinics paused IVF services after the Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos were children. Endometriosis affects about 5 million people in the U.S., but many do not know they have it.
It's been called the missed disease because many women may not even know they have it.
Endometriosis does impact 1 in 10 women. We do think that it probably impacts more women than that.
Dr. Megan Billow with Cleveland Clinic says endometriosis is a condition where tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows where it shouldn't, like the abdomen and pelvic area. Symptoms include painful periods, abdominal or back pain during your period, pain during sex, heavy periods, spotting between periods, infertility, and painful bowel movements.
The reason it's underdiagnosed and can take up to 7 to 10 years from the initial onset of symptoms to diagnosis is because the clinical symptoms do overlap with many other types of conditions.
Billow says the other problem is there's no blood test or biomarker that can detect the condition.
Endometriosis does require laparoscopy or an invasive procedure to truly diagnose the disease. However, we are really working on non-invasive options to diagnose endometriosis, including ultrasound and MRI.
There's no known cause for endometriosis and no cure, but Billow says a diagnosis allows doctors to treat symptoms.
The best type of management is typically using a combination of medications and surgery to not only diagnose, optimize treatment, and control symptoms.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In Galveston, 12 rehabilitated green sea turtles were carried into the Gulf to start their journey back home after spending 2 months in recovery. In January, the Houston Zoo says almost 24 of the aquatic reptiles were endangered, stranded in Galveston Bay and Matagorda Bay. They help rehabilitate the animals along with the Texas A&M Gulf Center for Sea Turtle Research until 12 of them were strong enough to be released today. Now researchers are keeping an eye on the released turtles to make sure the endangered population continues to survive.
Who would have thunk the turtles don't like the cold weather either? So they're certainly a southern breed. Anyway, folks, we got some nice little showers rolling around. I hope it's not an inconvenience for you. 72 right about now, another warm day over our area. Of course, the question is, will we get any more rain other than this? It's getting pretty slim, as a matter of fact. We had 79 as our high temperature, 61 the overnight low. We're slightly above our average of 73, but tomorrow, when the front comes through, all of a sudden it's going to get even cooler. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. All of a sudden, Texas is getting a little interesting. The weather, that is. Well, no, it's always interesting, but the weather's getting interesting as well. Here you see all that Gulf air streaming northbound, and you notice it was kind of windy today. Well, that's what's giving us a little light shower activity around the area, but you can see none of this is very significant. As we move up to North Texas, it's getting a little more significant. There's Dallas. There's Wichita Falls, there's Abilene, and just south of Abilene, some big thunderstorms are firing at this hour of the afternoon. This is part of that frontal system I kept telling you about all week. It is finally moving into Texas, and you can see from right about here, you can see how all of a sudden the storms start growing taller and taller into the atmosphere. Now, for tonight, for tomorrow, Friday. Excuse me. For Friday, they have a possibility of getting some severe weather in northeast Texas, but you can see how we're not invited to that, and it's okay. I was just hoping that when the front came through, we'd get a little light rain activity overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. That's what I'm hoping for, but it's not going to be a big one. We're down to even less of a chance of rain for us. Saturday, that whole thing is gone as the frontal system comes in with a nice north wind, and that will start making things a little drier. As a result, for far southwest Texas, they are having, well, tonight this is severe thunderstorms, but this is high fire danger, and this down in the valley after the front comes through is high fire danger as well. Future Tracker will show you There's the first line of storms. Here we are down here. Notice how it just right there. That's it. Friday morning. It's our best shot at getting anything around here. And then it all blows away as the northwest wind will take over. We are looking, of course, for things to be fairly nice over the weekend. I mean, it's going to be cooler in the 60s. So tomorrow morning, we've got the thunderstorm chance for the coast and for us as well. Then cloudy and then clearing up as that west wind starts kicking in. We'll get up to 82. That's like before the front. But by Saturday, things are a whole lot better. Again, scattered thunder showers tomorrow morning, Friday, and then clearing up, getting up to 79 in the inland areas. Now for Saturday, things are looking very nice. Clearing skies, cooler temperatures, only a high of 65 and then 68 on Sunday. Don't forget that Saturday night we spring forward 1 hour as we begin daylight savings time. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Cuddy now.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, in real estate, mortgage rates have dropped after rising for 4 weeks in a row. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 130 points, the S&P 500 up 53 points, and the Nasdaq up 242 points. Oil down 20 cents, closing at $78.93 a barrel. Mortgage rates ticked down slightly this week. Freddie Mac reports the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 6.88% in the week ending today. That's down slightly from the week before. The decline breaks a 4-week streak of rising rates, which had done little to chill the home buyer market, and it will likely draw even more people to the spring market. Today, Congress is planning to vote on a bill that would ban TikTok from all U.S. devices like phones and tablets. Read this article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac. Plus, if you're a fan of IHOP and Applebee's, stay tuned because a combination restaurant might be coming soon. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
State of the Union, the economy, immigration, women's rights, Israel, Ukraine. Americans turn to ABC for the primetime address and World News Tonight with David Muir, the most watched newscast on television.
Predict the awards for the Oscars today. To vote, come to crossroadstoday.com/predict to enter that giveaway. The top 3 winners will receive a $50 gift card to Dick's Food Stores. Now, for acting in a supporting role, you can vote for Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, America Ferrera, Jodie Foster, and Divine J. Randolph. Who do you got?
I wish they'd tell me which films they were so that I would have a better idea.
Based off names, just
Yeah.
strictly going off names,
Yeah.
we're going with Jodie Foster.
Well,
Right.
she's been
Yeah.
a war horse for years, and hopefully she'll do well. And
I didn't watch many movies this year, I'm not
You
going to
didn't?
lie. I don't think I did, besides the big ones,
Well,
Barbie and Oppenheimer.
see, I watched a bunch, but there's a whole bunch in there that were not wide.
It happens, it happens.
So you've got to do a lot of research to get all those 3 answers correct. But join us on Sunday, should be exciting.
Yeah, they start at 6 p.m.
And we'll walk down the red carpet.
Well, this next story, Dine Brands Global, the parent company of both IHOP and Applebee's, is thinking about opening a combination restaurant. The company said it has closed several Applebee's locations and opened several new IHOPs. The company said the revenue from the joint restaurants could double that of a standalone restaurant and cost less to build. If the company decides to bring the dual-branded restaurants to the U.S., it won't be a new concept. It already operates multiple IHOP Applebee's combination restaurants in Mexico. Okay, so I don't know much about that, but I do know
it's real easy. See, you go to breakfast at IHOP's, and then you stand the rest of the night at Applebee's, or the other way around.
Doesn't Applebee's have margaritas?
Yep.
You eat pancakes,
A few.
margaritas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pancakes and margaritas sounds good.
Yeah. I don't know much about them in Mexico, but I do know that Carl's Jr. in Mexico is splendid.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we have a rain chance tonight into tomorrow morning. And then after that, it's pretty much all gone because the frontal system will blow through around noontime. You'll feel that north wind coming in. And then on Saturday, we're looking for clearing skies and cooler temperatures. I can't say that very much this late in the season, folks. It may be our last culprit. I don't know. 65, 68 on Saturday and Sunday. That's looking good. Just remember that Saturday night we spring forward.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Mac, and thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.